ferdig.
I'm going to talk about mental health and mental health issues. This is the content I'm going to include in this presentation. What is mental health? Why is it important? I'm also going to mention a couple of types of mental health issues that is common in the world. And also I'm going to talk about what causes these issues and mental health issues and how to prevent them. I'm also going to go in depth about how mental health disorders are a social issue in the UK. I'm going to mention a couple of statistics that show difference between mental health issues between men and women, children and adults. I also have a news article I'm going to talk about. And in the end, I'm going to give a short presentation of how it relates to other social issues, and I'm going to end with the conclusion. Mental health. Mental health is very much connected to our emotional state and how we think or feel. Is pretty much our current well-being. It also affects our behavior and our life choices, what we do in our life, and how and what we choose to do in the future. If you have a poor mental health, it can lead to some negative results, such as a decrease in energy, several mood swings, which means that you will be happy for a minute and sad in another. You will also withdraw from people and social activities, which basically means that you will not partake in social activities at school or at the workplace. You will not socialize with people. You will keep it to yourself, basically. Some people resort to drugs to cope with it. At the worst, some people choose to self-harm because of mental health disorders. Here's I've chosen a couple of mental disorders which are quite common in the world. First is depression. It causes people to have severe lack of motivation in life and lose self-worth. Then there's anxiety, which means makes you very worried about life, about the future or the past, which can cause difficulties to get into social situation, create friendship, or so on. There are also PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a form of disorder where past trauma affects you greatly. If you were a soldier in the military, or you have a lot of abuse from parents from childhood, it can cause PTSD, making life very hard. There are also eating disorders, such as some have anorexic or some become very obese and can't stop, eating a lot or not eating enough. What causes mental disorders? Well, there's a couple of different factors which plays into this. First is biological factors. It can be, come from your parents, inherited DNA. There's also life experience, how you go from, child to adult, what you experience. Do you have a lot of friends or not enough, or very few of them? And there's also a history of mental health problems. If you or your family have had mental health problems, it can also re-emerge and cause more of them. The environment is very important too, important factor that plays into this. If you grew up in a very poor state, with there's a lot of crime activity there, it can cause a lot of stress, can also create a mental disorder in the future, such as anxiety or depression. Ways to maintain a positive mental health. Well, first of all, is to get personal help. Talk to your psychologist or talk to anybody who's your friend or is in close relationship with you. They're also getting physical active, getting to the gym, lifting some weights, helping your self-esteem, getting a better self-worth of yourself. They're also acquiring a hobby, getting something you like, something you enjoy to do. You can also, keep your mind at bay of all those negative thoughts. Also getting a lot of sleep, sleep is an important factor that plays into it. If you don't get enough sleep, you can become very sensitive to negative emotions and thoughts. Here's a statistic that shows severe mental illnesses on the rise. And here you can see that from 1993, it has been increasing the number of people with mental disorders. Why is this happening? There are several different reasons. One such is that more people are willing to report it. They don't hide it anymore. It's more socially acceptable to show and talk about your mental disorders. Another reason for the increase might be because of social media. There's a lot more social pressure on you to keep an image, a good image. It causes a lot of stress. There's also higher amount of expectations for some individuals. If you live up to expectation, you increase anxiety, you create stress. According to the article, 1 in 4 people in the UK has had a mental disorder early in their life. The National Health Service has a very low budget, and they can't do as much to help people. But in the future, the government has promised that they will increase funding for this service. There's a big difference between men and women when it comes to mental health disorders. As you can see here, from 16 to 24 years, women have a lot more proficient with symptoms in the past week, while men is on the lower side. But we see after on the gap evens out between men and women, but still it's generally very high for women. And as I mentioned before, social media may be the main reason. Women have to keep an image. There's a lot of social pressure for women, at least. But if we look at the suicide rates between men and women, men have a lot more higher than women. As you can see here, it's a bit above, where women are generally low since 1981 to 2016. That may be because men are more willing to hide their social issues and mental health problems than women are. They aren't as much willing to talk about it, and which can build up a lot of stress and make them commit suicide. This is another statistic I chose from the BBC. Here we can see that 1 in 10 children have a diagnosable condition, which is a lot if you think about it. 1 in 2 children between the age of 14 have a mental health condition. So that means that 5 out of 10 children have at least experienced or will have a mental health issue. 3 in 4 of adults have mental health issues at the age of 24, and the reason for this is there are several reasons for this. One of them might be high expectations, and mental health issues usually start off from a very early age of a person. Can come from mental abuse from parents, and difficult workplace for adults. This is a news article that shows that related to the topic I have. This is from The Guardian. It says that under 18s with mental health issues to be asked about their social media use, which means that the National Health Service has chosen to establish new guidelines, which is that now you have to regularly talk about your issues. You have to talk about how much you use your social media and how it affects you, and this is to prevent a lot of stress and anxiety. How it relates to other social issues. If you have a lot of mental disorders, it can lead to drug use, and drug use can generally lead to crime. You can have health problems, which like obesity or anorexia. It causes problems in social life. you can get bullied if you don't want to participate in a lot of social activities, if you have depression, etc. And it also can hinder your education. Conclusion. To conclude, mental health is as important as physical health. If you don't take care of it, if you don't talk about it, it can cause a chain reaction which will cause more social issues in your life, like drug use, crime, like I mentioned before. This is like among the biggest problems that the world faces today, and it should be taken a lot more seriously than it is. This is the source I used to get my information from The Guardian, which was the news article. And yeah, that is it. Thank you.